is a big, beautiful day for baseball in Atlanta. You know, the Phillies are all puckered up. They're trying to avoid a 3-game series sweep, something the Braves haven't enjoyed in well over a month. Nice crowd gathering for Bark in the Park Day. Hopefully, it'll be a dog day afternoon for the Fightin' Phils here in Atlanta. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome to the ballpark. Two very well-pitched games for the Braves and Phillies, quite frankly, the last two nights. Great matchup today in Game 3 of the series, featuring Julio Teheran and Aaron Nola for the Phils. You know, the pitching across the board for the Braves lately has been really good. This homestand has not been bad at all from the pitching department, and Julio Teheran's at the top of the list. He has pitched great in the second half of this season, and against the Phillies, undefeated, 3-0, a 1.29 ERA. His last 7 starts against him, he's 5-1, so he's pretty much dominated them. But oh, by the way, Aaron Nola, same thing against the Braves. He's pitched twice against the Braves, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. He's 2-0 against Atlanta. They got to figure out something against him and give Julio a little run support. Great way to end a homestand is with a win. Then we hope to have a happy flight up to New York as we start our final road trip of the season against the Mets tomorrow. It's a perfect day for baseball. Only one thing can make it better, and that's a win against the Phillies. Lineups and first pitch coming up right after this. Time to get after it. Braves and Phillies, Game 3 of our series. Final meeting of the season with our division rivals from Philadelphia. The Braves with a comfortable lead for 4th place in divisional play. Now 3 games ahead of the Phillies, who've lost their last 5 games in a row. The Phillies lineup for their interim skipper Pete Mackanin looks very similar to what we've seen earlier in this series. There are the Phillies. And there's the lineup. Freddie Galvis will lead off at second base. Aaron Altair will be in left field. Odubel Herrera is their center fielder, a Rule 5 pick who's been a very nice find for them. Jeff Francoeur gets start. Playing here before friends and family in Atlanta. He'll be their cleanup man. Blanco will be at shortstop again. Ruff at first. Rupp the catcher. Ashe at third base. And Aaron Nola will pitch and bat in the number 9 spot. We raved about Andrelton Simmons' defense last night. Freddie Gonzalez, Joe, was thrilled with his what he called game-saving play. And once again, Andrelton anchors the defense at shortstop for the Braves today.
Always a pleasure to watch him. Always, as I said last night, glad that he's on your team and makes those kind of plays to save so many runs for the Braves. He's had more defensive runs saved than anybody in baseball over the last 3 years.
Braves take the field under partly cloudy skies in Atlanta. 86 degrees. Breeze out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour. Partly cloudy. Very little chance of rain this afternoon. The only thing that's been raining for Julio Teheran is lots and lots of successful innings pitched. He's on a very nice roll in rotation for Atlanta.
No doubt about it. 6'2", 200-pounder, 24 years old. His last 7 starts against the Phillies dating back to last season. 5-1 with a 1.22 ERA. That includes a perfect 3-0 this year. He started against them in Philadelphia on September 9th. 7 innings, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. So he's seen them recently too. His 4 keys to pitching success. Number 1, Star Trek. Boldly go where no one's gone before this year for the Atlanta Braves. That would be his 11th win if he wins today. And also go inside, keep pitching inside like he has been, especially to the left-handed hitters with that hard slider down and in. And own him he has so far, and lately against the Philadelphia Phillies. Cap off your final start of the season against them with another W and make it a clean sweep.
Always a special day when Jim Joyce works the plate. Lets you know ball strike right away. Distinctive umpiring call behind the plate. One of the game's best, most respected umpires. He's the crew chief with Greg Gibson, Chad Fairchild, and Pat Hoberg working alongside. Those 3 men, I'm sure, realize how fortunate they are to work with an umpire as accomplished as Jim Joyce.
With all the dogs here, dogs will hear him calling strikes today, and that might set off a big howl.
Very well could. It is Bark in the Park Day. And I think a lot of our fans, Joe, who were watching the game last night, heard your plea. We have seen very few dogs with hats.
Yeah, the ones we see with hats we'll know haven't been watching the games, and we're going to have to do something about that.
But some fine-looking hounds. And a perfect day to spend the day with your 4-legged friend here at the ballpark. Julio Teheran ready to go. Freddie Galvis leading off for the Phillies. 0 for 8 is he in this series. That's news in and of itself, because Galvis has long tormented Braves pitching this year. So keep him off the bases and you help your cause mightily. There's Jim Joyce, and he's got his first strike under the belt today. Galvis getting a start at second base again. That raised a few eyebrows yesterday when Pete McCannon put him over there. The Phillies obviously in a rebuild mode. They're trying to figure out how Galvis will best serve them going forward. He's done real good work for them at shortstop. But their top prospect is a kid named J.P. Crawford, who's a shortstop by trade and had a good year at Double-A. This one's popped up right in the center of the diamond. Who wants it? It's going to be Andrelton Simmons taking over. I don't think Oliveira ever saw it. And Andrelton, the defensive captain, made the play.
I think he saw it. I just think he was really hoping Andrelton would come in with a better angle fighting the sun and be able to see it a little better, because it was right up in the sun, as you can see the shadow on his face from his glove. Happy to give way.
So Galvis retired, 0 for 9 in the series. Aaron Altair is the Phillies left fielder today, and he hits one out of play, foul for a strike. Some in the Philly media circles believe Altair has shown enough in his limited duty with the big league club to make their club out of spring training next season. 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and a low batting average as he learns the league.
Well, he can play the outfield. We've seen some nice plays from him already out there.
Amazing too, Joe, how quickly a franchise's fortunes can turn in this regard. At the start of the season, the Phillies were one of the oldest teams in the National League. they very quickly become one of the youngest teams with the departures of Rollins and Utley, Cole Hamels and others.
That's what they needed to do. Most of the Braves changes occurred in the offseason. Almost all of the Phillies moves came during the season.
So 3 games separate the Braves and Phillies in the East. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Lollipop breaking ball got Altair to swing and miss. 2 up, 2 down for Julio.
That's been one of his best pitches lately. That breaking ball after the hard slider to take a little bit off that breaking ball. Hard for the right-handers especially to keep their hands back.
Julio's a different man since he's moved to the first base side of the rubber, isn't he?
Most definitely. You can almost attach directly his recent success to that. That renewed confidence in his fastball.
Odubel Herrera survived a scary moment last night and lines this one to second, and Jace Peterson timed his leap perfectly.
Get up.
Check out the vertical. Great catch by Jace Peterson, and Tehran has a perfect first. Start in the first. Jace Peterson's already turned in our Toyota key play of the game.
Well, he just timed this perfectly. I honestly, off the bat, I thought there's no way he'd be able to get it. I thought it was one of those deals where a guy's just jumping because he's supposed to jump. But lo and behold, man, he hauled that thing in. That's a two-handed behind the back, flat-footed dump.
Braves feel real good about their middle infield defense with Jace Peterson and Andrelton Simmons. And now Michael Bourne and the Braves ready to go in the bottom half of the first inning. They've got a tough customer to deal with. Young Aaron Nola, #1 pick by the Phillies out of LSU last year, already in the big leagues and pitching good ball. And that missed low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, and he's only 22. Same size as Julio, 6'2", 200. Great start. His last 3, not so good. However,
little roller out towards second, and Galvis tried for the glove flip. Ball ends up in shallow right, and Bourne ends up at second base. All or nothing play for Galvis. He didn't make it when the ball got behind him. That was an easy 2-base hit.
Didn't Michael deserve something like this?
Yes.
Maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Might be the shortest double of his major league career.
Yeah. and nobody there to back it up, so he had to go get it.
The board said doubled, but now the official scorer Jack Wilkinson changes that to an E4.
A hit and an error I understand, but I don't understand. I wouldn't call that a straight error.
And Oliveira, base hit to right field. Jeff Francoeur comes up ready to throw. No way the Braves will challenge his arm. And just like that, the Braves have runners first and third, nobody out.
Understand that the Braves haven't had anything off Nola. He's made 2 starts. He's given up 2 runs in 12 innings, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. And I showed you those 3 starts in that graphic. He had a bad start, then the outing against Atlanta where he went 7 innings of shutout ball, then another bad start. So he had the Braves start sandwiched in between 2 bad ones. That's why he's 1-1.
Freddie Freeman had the big hit here last night. Let's see if he can put the Braves in front here in the first. And he will. Shot the other way, brings home Bourne. Oliveira will stop at second. It's 1-0 on Freeman's 59th RBI and 3rd of the series.
Jumped on the first pitch. Pitch was up, little inside out swing. Freddie's the only guy in the lineup this afternoon who has more than 1 hit against Nola in those 2 starts. He's 2 for 5, now 3 for 6.
And a chance for a big Braves inning in the first. Adonis Garcia, the batter. And he went around, strike 1. Joe Freddy Gonzalez, a man of his word after the base running blunder by Garcia here on Friday night. He was taken out of the ball game in the middle of the game, benched yesterday, but back in there today.
Yeah, as we said on the air a couple of days ago following that, Freddie says as far as he was concerned, it was over after the change and no grudges, and that's the way he operates. He made his point, no reason to just hound Adonis about it.
No balls, 2 strikes. And low and in from Nola. There was some talk for the Phillies too about perhaps shutting Aaron Nola down. He's approaching 175 innings this year, and that's around where the Phillies wanted him to finish up his season between the minor leagues and major leagues. And there was some thought that perhaps this would be his final start of the regular season. But the Phillies are kind of approaching this with what Dr. Andrews had said, and that is, don't just pick a arbitrary number, go by how the pitcher feels. And Nola has had no complaints at all about his arm or fatigue, as this one's hit toward Ashe at third, and the Phillies will complete the around the horn double play for 2 out. So for now, the plan is evaluate Nola start by start and give himself and the Phillies a much better idea of where he is, what he is, and what he needs to work on in preparation for spring training next year.
Well, with those 2 starts, bad starts I talked about, and the 1 good one sandwiched in between, if he has a bad start again today, I think that's seriously look at it, because that would be 3 out of 4. But if he pitches like he has been pitching against Atlanta, the games against the Braves,
sure,
then that might be reason to let him go again, get another start.
He'll pitch out of the stretch to Cameron Maybin, who bounces this one to third. That's fair ball. Long throw, Ashe. Low throw, and dug out at first by Darren Ruff. And nice job by Nola to limit the damage to only 1 run. The error comes home to roost. 1-0 Atlanta.
Right stuff, low price, every day.
They just won't listen to us, will they?
No, look how embarrassed they are. Those poor dachshunds, I mean, they can't even see out from under their calf. Look, he's that one on the left, he's got trying to throw his nose up just to see what's going on. He can't even see the field.
Did you see the sign the guy's holding?
No.
Look at this. Wait till you see this.
For humans.
Those dachshunds had a minor, though. They turn around and bite that guy.
Oh, no question. Just embarrassed as they can be.
Not only are they funny looking dogs, they're even funnier looking with hats on, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a wiener dog. Try not to emphasize the fact that it's a wiener dog. Just bring it to the park and let it enjoy the game and get it a hot dog.
Right?
Yeah.
Jeff Franco leads off and pops it out of play foul. Jeff gets a chance to play every day, or today I should say. Getting a chance to play every day has really eluded him the last couple of weeks as the Phillies evaluate their young outfielders. He's had a couple of pinch hit appearances and they've ended like that. Strikeouts. And Julio has his second whiff of the game. He's retired the first 4 in order.
Got him upstairs. Again, confidence in that fastball.
Andres Blanco's the shortstop today. He has a couple of hits in this series and has a 3-game hitting streak for the Phillies. They will make their way down to Miami. They have an off day in Miami tomorrow, a 3-game series with the Marlins, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
I wonder if we'll cross paths because the Braves will get in there late Wednesday, early hours of Thursday.
Yeah.
The day off themselves Thursday.
Larry Anderson will be just coming in.
Yeah. Probably see him.
2 balls and a strike for Blanco. Phillies wrap up their road schedule in Washington. This is the first stop of a 3-city road trip for them. We're at New York, at Miami, then home for the Nationals and the Cardinals.
That precious little thing. So he wasn't even panning. Didn't have a hat on. Happy.
Yeah, it's kind of a misnomer, right? You think you're doing the dog a favor by putting the hat on.
No, you're not doing the dog a favor. You think you're doing yourself. Look at my dog. Putting that hat on there.
Bouncing ball right side. Freeman to Teheran. There's the second out. My partner's passionate about a couple of things, folks, in case you haven't figured this out. Playing the game the right way. Oklahoma football. Vanilla ice cream with chocolate sauce. And no hats on canines.
That about covers it. Bandanas. A-OK.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the other one. Ketchup on a hot dog, mayonnaise on a hamburger. That's another hot button topic.
Un-American. The mayonnaise. I mean, hot dog thing is okay, but the mayonnaise on a cheeseburger. Are you kidding me?
I can't go with you on the hot dog. There's no ketchup on a hot dog. Doesn't work.
Okay.
Swing and a miss by Ruff.
Yeah. I will commend the people who are in the Bark in the Park section. They've kind of moved up into the shade to give their dog some shade. I know there are dog bowls around for water. That's a good thing. It's actually about the hottest day of the homestand. Good going.
And Julio's got heat himself. 6 up, 6 down with 3 strikeouts. He's pitching like a man possessed. He's gunning after win number 11, and he's got a 1-0 advantage. And that is a wolf in sheep's clothing, it looks like, doesn't it?
Pretty pup. And happy.
1-0 Atlanta. Simmons, Peterson, and Bethancourt are coming up. Here's the Braves starting 9. Freddie Freeman with his 3rd RBI of the series. Played at the 8th run against Aaron Nola in the 1st inning this year. One ball, no strikes. Three homers, 40 RBIs for Andrelton Simmons. Well, that play he made last night was indeed a lead-saving dive to his left. But I don't know if anybody can appreciate how hard that play was, because the ball was hit so hard. He had to scramble to his left. He had to worry about the base runner too, and of course the game situation.
And he had just backed up. He had just come from trying to hold Blanco close, so he was actually backpedaling, plant, change directions, catch it.
Three balls and a strike for Simmons, who, as we showed you, 109 defensive runs saved in the last 3 years. Galvis handles that one to his right, and there's out number 1. Here's the play, and note how hard this ball was hit and the traffic he had to deal with.
Right out in the web of the glove. And it wasn't just to make the catch. He's already looking to see if he can get a double play here.
Second most defensive runs is Jason Hayward with 86 of them. So 23 more runs saved by Simmons than Hayward over the last nearly 3 full seasons. So you add that 33 he's taken away and put it to the 40 he's knocked in. That's a heck of a year.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how they calculate that. I ought to find out so we can apply the defensive metrics to it. But how many plays it might be with runners on base where he actually kept the run from scoring. I have to look that up, but I like it. I like the run save graphic.
I do too.
Stat.
Would you agree that that's maybe the most difficult thing to quantify in our game?
Defense?
Yeah. How it's.
That's why a lot of the defensive metrics I just think are hogwash, because you can't put a what's the word? You just can't lay out a sheet and say everybody plays in the same position. And their range is from here to here. Well, not everybody plays in the same place. With all the shifts that are going on these days, there's certainly a lot of difference in that. So I think a lot of it is just baloney.
Full count pitch for Peterson. And a hopper hit toward the left side. Blanco can't get it out of his glove. Peterson with good speed. Legs out at infield, hit his 3rd hit of the series. And a couple of days of rest for Jace. Maybe has his legs and bat feeling lively. He's already made a great defensive play, and he's aboard with 1 out.
See, look where Blanco is playing. You know, you can't just say, well, he was playing a normal shortstop position and should have made this play. No, he was way up the middle. There's no way he can make that play.
And I think a lot of that defensive stuff is predicated, like when we see a shift on the pitcher making his pitch. If you pitch against your shift, there's no defensive player in the world who's going to be able to overcome that. And Jace hit that ball in a perfect spot to bring up Christian Bethancourt. Ground ball to 3rd. Ashe handcuffed, but got it off to 2nd. And the around the horn double play is the 2nd in as many innings for the Braves offense. We head to the 3rd inning. Bottom part coming up for the Phils. They trail 1-0.
kind of just trying to evaluate really where it would go from here. Our first and foremost thoughts are just for his health and just that he is okay. And, you know, as we keep going through this, we should learn more going forward.
Well, guys, I appreciate what Coppy said right there. The first and foremost concern is for Fulty's health. Well said. As a former pitcher, I would like to say that I'm not a doctor, but I do have experience in this. This is a serious deal. Jeremy Bonderman, thoracic outlet syndrome, caused those blood clots. He had surgery, was never the same. Other guys, Aaron Cook, had that same surgery, and they were fine. Tom Glavine had a type of blood clots, and he took aspirin, and he was okay. But there is no guarantees on how this will move going forward. Everybody wishing and praying the best for Fulty, his family, and we'll all be very interested to follow along.
Absolutely, Paul. Yeah, that was very disturbing this morning when we all learned that, because Mike had been throwing in the bullpen trying to get some of his strength back to get ready to maybe finish up the season in the bullpen.
Cameron Rupp is the hitter and takes a strike. So, Mike, if you're watching the game, please know all of us are thinking about you.
You bet.
Wishing to get you out of the hospital and home and back with us here at the ballpark real soon. And high to Rupp, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's the Phillies catcher. Julio's bringing it today. He's got a good fastball. He's retired the first 6 men. He's struck out 3 of them. And this one hit toward right at Michael Bourne, who's giving Nick Markakis the day off today. And there's the first out.
Julio's not typically a good day game pitcher, at least in his career. Not a very good record, but he has been good at Turner Field this year. We know that. 7-2 on the year here at home, an ERA at 3.23.
Here's Cody Ashe. Ashe's hit 9 homers, but this one popped up. Chase Peterson drifts out. Look at where Simmons is. He's in on the play, and Maben came in at the last moment, made a thigh high or shin high catch. There were a trio of Braves gathering, and Simmons did all he could to help out, as he knows the difficulties with the sun.
Chase bowed out right away when he heard Andrelton calling for it, and then Andrelton's job was to get out of Maben's way. Nice play by Cameron to stay with it.
Here's a strike to Nola, who's 2 for 20 and RBI.
You know, these defensive metrics, when I use the words hogwash and baloney, I don't mean to disparage the people that work hard to try to put these things together and scientifically do the analytics. I just don't know how you can put a blanket description and analysis on defense in terms of where people play and what their range is. It's just, you can't do it and be fair and accurate.
That missed. Yeah, some days a guy might be playing with a sore leg and doesn't want anyone to know, so he might have a step or 2 less range on that particular day, for example, which would affect his ability to make plays. Luckily for Atlanta, there's no such trouble with Andrelton Simmons. We'll continue that thought as we move to the home third. Tehran's perfect through 3 innings, 9 up, 9 down, and he'll lead things off with a 1-run lead. Hot diggity dog.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
And notice no ketchup on that hot dog,
And
right?
yeah. And worth the price of admission right there. Watch your fingers.
Julio's going to lead things off for Atlanta. He's also the subject of our AT&T Uverse trivia question. He's allowed 26 homers this year. Named the last Braves pitcher to allow 30 homers in a year.
I'm not sure the answer. The Mailer gave up a lot.
Yep, I think so.
I may be way over exaggerating this, but I think Bert Blyleven gave up like 40 one year, 38 or 40. Threw all those curveballs.
Oh, yeah.
Hung a few of them.
Hey, but if they're solos, who cares, right?
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame, you know.
Yep. Justifiably so, in my opinion.
Yep.
Julio Teheran leads off the third inning. Let's talk some more about those defensive metrics you were talking about. I'm with you. It's, at least for me, so foreign to try to quantify what your eyes tell you. I mean, that's, I guess, the age-old, old-school thinking versus the new school thinking. And with you, I totally respect what they do. Much of it I don't understand. But Bobby Cox is right. The day that comes when your eyes can't tell you who the best players are on the field, then something's wrong.
Something's wrong. We've gotten way off track.
And so perhaps for those who are so inclined, maybe they're trying to quantify what to them is unquantifiable.
Oh, sure. Right. It's a challenge. Yeah. But scientifically now we have the ability to measure the velocity of a pitch. We have the ability to measure bat speed.
Right.
How fast the ball's coming off the bat when it's struck. Routes. We could measure how fast a guy runs to first by clocking him and turn that into miles per hour if we want to. But you can't, in my opinion, measure where a guy's playing, how many steps it took him to get there, whether or not he made the play, because, I mean, across the league, without having stripes on the field,
yeah.
You know, markers.
Yeah.
He went from zone A to zone C and made a play 19 times this month.
Ground ball to short. That should be easy for Blanco, and it is. Well, I think you said it really well when we talked about Simmons's play yesterday. What made that play so special was that he moved before the pitch was made, which allowed him that extra step to make the diving catch. How's that measured? How's that measured as far as his range? So, long way of saying it. How does a defensive metric measure instinct?
Can't.
And so that's where my issue comes with some of those advanced metrics. And if there's a computer that can tell you how a player feels on that day, or physically if he's 100%, if he's having trouble at home, or he's excited about his child's first birthday.
Well, go the other way. Go the other way on a guy who has no range. You know, there might be a guy who has the range of a hosta plant, and he makes all the plays, but the only catch is what's hit at him. He can't get to anything else.
So we might say as a broadcast, wow, he must be a good defensive first baseman because he only has 2 errors.
He's only Steve Garvey. Never made an error because he didn't go for anything. He just ground balls hit to the right side. He ran to the bag.
So the old saying, it might have been Mark Twain, lies, damned lies, and statistics. You can make numbers say whatever you want them to say.
Yeah. You know,
but your eyes are as valuable a tool as the metrics.
Steve was famous for feeling a bunt, turning and looking at second, and going to the bag. He never threw to second for fear of making that error.
For a strikeout for Nola, 2 up, 2 down. And here's Oliveira, who singled his first time up. But again, to be clear, for those who are watching the game and think, oh, there they go again, ripping advanced metrics, we're in no way ripping them at all. I appreciate them. But the great thing about baseball, it isn't black and white. There are a zillion shades of gray. As that ball buzzed the tower inside, 1 ball, no strikes. And we're not here saying that the old school way is the only way that needs to be done.
No, it's got to be. You can employ some of these new metrics to go with the men who see it every day, the scouts, and apply it. You'd be foolish not to these days. You'd be foolish not to use some of the new science.
In fact, with regards to the Phillies, that's one area where some in baseball feel they really have fallen behind. They are, or were considered under Ruben Amaro, a really old school style organization where the analytics department had been passed by many of the other teams in Major League Baseball. And it is thought that perhaps whoever their new GM is will really help try to upgrade that portion of the Phillies baseball operations department. And Andy McPhail, who's now heading their ball club, he's as old school as they come in this regard. He's a baseball lifer. He's seen the game change and evolve, not just through his history, but his uncle, his father, whole family. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's downstairs, 2-2.
One of the things about Oliveira, we see all these one-handed roll over the top ground balls back to the pitcher, to third base, is that when he wraps that bat like he does, he's got to start early. So even unless it's just a fastball, anything off speed, he's got to start early. That top end comes off, and he's just trying to get a piece of it on anything off speed right now.
We head to the 4th. 1-0 Atlanta.
Bullied my way into this interview because you're talking Bill James, sabermetrics, and Moneyball. Some good stuff. Really enjoyed the discussion. I would like to present a similar type of view, but also a little bit different. Sabermetrics helped me because the quality start index. I was a pitcher that did not have great stuff, so every now and then I would have disaster outings. My agent would refer to the quality start index, which said, hey, 8 out of 10 times this guy has given his team a chance to win. So every now and then it's okay to add those numbers in and try and figure out if this guy has real value or not.
And that's a good point, Paul. That's another raging debate in the game. Is the win still an important statistic for a starting pitcher? I think the quality start is used to try to give value to a starting pitcher's performance because of the factors that are beyond his control in the course of a game. If I can get on my soapbox about that, I don't think a 4.50 ERA should be a quality start.
I agree with you. And Chip, I would ask you this: why is 6 innings, 3 runs given up, 4.50 ERA, a quality start? But if I throw 2 more, and I throw 8 innings and give up 4, it's not.
Good
that
point.
Makes no sense to me.
Right. So we can quibble about that all you want. How about 6 innings, 3 runs? I mean, 7 innings, 3 runs. Whatever you want to do.
Right.
And then I would say, okay, that's to me a much better indicator of how well a pitcher is pitched.
And I think what you're saying, Paul, is kind of what we're saying, that you can use some of the metrics with some of the old ways, and you come up with a much better analytic than if you just do all of one or the other. So I think they are useful in many ways.
I agree with you. I think you made a great point on range. You can't put a radar gun or a stat on someone's heart out on the mound or at the plate or making a play, playing through injury.
Yeah.
They were all great points. When you look at the reason behind sabermetrics, this is the point, this is the reason. To spend money wisely and make your team better by finding out if players have greater or less value than you think. And if you use that just as a compliment, I think it works. Here's where it goes bad. There are certain managers, some of whom have been my friends, when a GM has handed them a sheet and said, here's the lineup base, we've run all the data, here's the numbers. That is when it's an absolute disaster. And I think that's when, it's abused, and all of a sudden your manager is not making the decisions, and you're just looking at numbers and percentages and
becomes robotic.
Exactly.
You're not watching the game. You're just reading numbers and stat sheets.
Paul, what sabermetrics came about and the advanced analytics came about while you were still a player. When they first came out, from your perspective, in the locker room, in the dugout, actually going between the white lines, what was the response to that?
Well, anytime there's change against an established way of doing things, you're going to have a lot of fight back. And so people really felt they didn't want to take away from what the A's were doing, but a lot of people felt that you would not have had the movie Moneyball, or you would not have been talking about like Billy Beane if he didn't have great pitching. And so you had guys, Zito, Mulder,
Hudson,
who were running out there and weren't getting injured and doing the job. Now, when they picked up Chad Bradford, a reliever, that's where that helped their team. When they picked up Hatteberg and saw some value in Hatteberg, those were good decisions. That was money that was well spent. But again, in baseball, we challenged the fact that no matter what emphasis you put on stats, you have to have good starting pitching. You have to have the other things that the game is not going to change.
Yeah, Exhibit A, the Boston Red Sox this year. Right? I mean, they went out and got guys that they thought could give them innings and keep them in games, and it was an unmitigated disaster at Fenway Park this year.
That's where I think you guys made a great point that, hey, we're not bashing it. We don't want to throw it out the window, but it has to be a compliment. It cannot be what you start with.
Fly ball out of play, foul by Odubel Herrera.
All people need to know about that movie, Paul, is that there was very little mention of Zito, Mulder, and Hudson. It was all applied to the so-called genius of what they were doing with their sabermetrics, and really ignored the fact that they already had 3 of the top starting pitchers in baseball, and I thought that was a farce.
Or scouts.
So anytime anybody brings a movie up to me, I laugh.
I pop fly to left. But Philip Seymour Hoffman and Brad Pitt were pretty terrific.
By the way, we got a perfect game going here.
Yes, we do. 4 perfect innings for Julio Teheran. 12 up, 12 down. first 12 in order. And we do have a scoring change. Give Michael Bourne a leadoff double on that glove flip attempt by Freddie Galvis at second base. That double turned into the game's first run when Freddie Freeman singled him home before there was a single out in the ball game. Look who's leading off the Atlanta fourth. Freddie Freeman, our Georgia Lottery, hitting the jackpot feature.
14 games against the Phillies. Most recent 14 games, 15 RBIs, 396 average for the year against them. What is
Alter's out of the game. Who's in left?
That might be Bogusevich.
So we'll update you as soon as we know what's up. Unless it's Herrera who's out of the game. Did Alter move to center?
Might have.
I think it's Herrera who's out of the game.
Good catch.
Downstairs for Freeman. 2 balls, no strikes. Yep. So it's Bogusevich, Alter, and Francoeur left to right. And 3-0 from Aaron Nola. Freeman walks on 4 pitches. First walk from Nola, who just retired the side in order last inning. First walk, along with 4 Braves hits. Herrera made the last out of the 4th inning, Joe. I didn't see anything physically wrong with him after he made contact.
I wasn't watching, but it was an easy fly ball, so.
We'll check the tape and see if he ran after contact. Maybe Pete McCannon saw something as Freeman takes second on a ball in the dirt.
That might be a pass ball. The way Rupp reacted, it was almost like the ball popped out of his glove and he didn't realize it.
Runner in scoring position for Garcia, and he launches one toward left. Bogusevich going back onto the warning track, has room shy of the fence.
Nice play.
And there's the first out.
Just into the game.
Here's Maben. Cameron bounced out to third his first time up. Here we are, another 1-run game with the Phillies. Braves have won the first 2 games of this series by identical 2-1 scores. Last night's win was the 18th consecutive 1-run victory for the Braves at home. And they're at it again today, trying to sweep the Phillies. A strike.
Scored at a wild pitch that got Freddie to second.
Okay.
Nola's arm angle about 3/4 makes it tough for right-handers pick the ball up. Plus he throws hard. He's in the low 90s and his curveball is a good one. Garcia just hit that curveball to deep left. Nice play by Bogusevich, but hitters are only batting 183 against his curveball.
Phillies are going to have a lot of money this offseason to spend. They've got their new TV contract kicking in. They won't have Utley's contract, Rollins' contract, and on and on. They've got a lot of young pitchers like the Braves do. But those young pitchers are thought of right now, Joe, as 3s and 4s and 5s. If they could get a top of the rotation kind of guy to anchor their starting staff and bring these kids along, the Phillies could make a move, much like the Mets did. I'm not saying win the division, but certainly be a lot more respectable than 56 and 93 next year. And this is a terrific season to be in the free agent pitcher market. It's a buyer's market. There are a lot of good arms out there. David Price, Jordan Zimmerman, and on we go, just to name a couple that the Braves have seen a lot. And they got to find some offense. They do have to figure out who their everyday players are going to be. And talking with Larry Anderson, back to our defensive conversation, Phillies have had some defensive issues too. So there's a big shopping list for Andy McPhail and company this offseason. There's that hook. Good one.
It's a good one. Strike. I was just checking Cliff Lee's contract status. He was signed through this season with a vesting option for 2016. Obviously, he didn't pitch all year, so that's not going to vest.
But I think there's a big dollar buyout that the Phillies are obligated to pay. So that's sunk cost, as well as the $25 million they owe Ryan Howard, plus a buyout after next year. He's owed roughly $35 million. There was some talk in the Philly paper about the Orioles maybe being a fit for Ryan Howard. Chris Davis is a free agent. The Orioles don't know if they can retain his services. But needless to say, the Phillies are going to have to buy out a lot of dollars if they're able to move Ryan Howard, and they've tried. Ground ball to third. Ashe's got it. And the peg to first is in plenty of time, and that retires the side. Leadoff walk is left stranded. We head to the fifth. Double Herrera in the center of your screen, taken out of the ball game after the Phillies batted in the fourth inning. This is what our camera crew was able to catch. After.
Wait. First of all, this is Blanco standing there talking to him and basically airing him out and talking to this young player about some of the things you got to do to play at this level and the way you got to handle yourself. And we'd been told before this series started how influential Andres Blanco is on all of these Latin players for the Phillies, not just Herrera, but also Michael Franco, about, you know, there's a certain way you got to act and carry yourself.
And this is what we believe is the subject of that conversation.
Well, it looks like Pete McCannon taking a page out of Freddie Gonzalez's book on the change that happened here a couple of nights ago. I don't know if that bat went anywhere near Jeff Francoeur in the on-deck circle, but it was enough of a hissy fit that Herrera's on the bench.
So good catch, Joe. Great catch by our camera crew. Herrera's out of the game, and here is Andres Blanco.
I give Blanco a lot of credit for trying to pass along some of the things he's learned and how to be professional. Every team needs a guy like that.
Julio's dealing, 14 up, 14 down. Here's Darren Ruff, who struck out to end the second inning.
The thing that veteran players take exception to, and I know Paul Bird would vouch for this and can weigh in on it. There's already 2 outs, so I'll try to make it quick. Are the guys that come up and have a modicum of success here, you know, for a couple of months, even the first 3 or 4 months, and they act like they've been here for 10 years. All of a sudden they're big leaguing everybody.
That's well hit down the left field line, but it is foul. Hit a mile, but just foul. That youngster's happy. How close was this?
Long enough and far enough to make you worry about it.
Swing and a miss. 15 up, 15 down for Teheran. A 6-pitch inning. He has struck out 5 Phillies. This one to second, and Jace Peterson timed his leap perfectly. Get up. Check out the vertical. Julio Teheran has tongues wagging all over the ballpark. He's perfect through 5 innings. And he's due to hit third in the home half of the 5th inning. Atlanta got a first inning run, and that's been enough against Aaron Nola, the young Phillies starter today. Nola's never lost to the Braves. Phillies haven't beaten Teheran this year. As Joe said, something has to give today. Peterson, Bethancourt, and Teheran are coming up. And a strike.
Jace already with a base hit today. A couple of hits in this series coming in. He's on that list of guys that's had good numbers against the Phillies coming into play today. In fact, tied there with Freddie. 2 for 3 last night.
There's the curve. Peterson spoiled it. It's 0-2. We make our way to New York tonight. We get in early enough, maybe we can go over and see the Yankees and Mets play. That's the big Sunday night game, the rubber game of the Subway Series. Another breaking ball. Peterson didn't get that one. There's out number 1. Third strikeout for Aaron Nola. When we get home, we'll have 1 week's worth of games left here in Atlanta. October 1st is a big night. Sam Hunt will be here. And you have until midnight tonight to get your special Sam Hunt designed New Era Braves snapback hat. Go to Braves.com to get this one-of-a-kind item. And you can also get a ticket to see the Braves and Nationals for that free post-game concert October 1st. Sam Hunt. Go online, Braves.com.
You know what else? That's a good homestand. The Nationals and then the Cardinals to finish the season. St. Louis has got a lot to play for and to get ready for with their postseason. Don't know if Washington will still be in it or not, but that's beside the point. Bryce Harper's having an MVP type season. He's certainly worth coming to the ballpark and watch him play. Would love to see the Braves get over 2 million in attendance. They're pushing and almost there, and a good homestand could make that happen.
Always fun when the Braves and Nationals get together. As we say, tongue firmly planted in cheek, your last chance to boo the Nationals till next year.
Right.
So hope you'll join us Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, September 29th. And a strike at the knees, 3-1 your count.
This guy's going to be really good, Aaron Nola. He's got a good frame. He's got long arms. He's got that 3/4 delivery. I think he's got some family and friends here. Talking to Paul before the game, he thought he had some family here from Baton Rouge.
I was impressed with Eichhoff last night too.
Yeah, I think they're firmly in their plans for their rotation next year based on what we've seen anyway. We'll make that decision for him.
3-2 pitch. There's the breaking ball. It's unhittable now. He's found the release point.
Yeah, it's 2 in a row. He struck out the left-hander with it, and now he strikes out Christian with it.
And that'll bring up Julio, who bounced out to short his first time up.
You know something about Julio's offense this year? First of all, 13 sacrifice bunts. That's number 1 in the National League. That's more than anybody. And 47 at bats now. He's only struck out 7 times. Does a good job of just putting it in play.
I think that's an area where the Braves are much improved over last year. Collectively speaking, their pitchers have handled the bat much more effectively.
Much better.
In our league, quite obviously, that's very, very important.
The most bunts, Archibald looked it up for us. Most bunts by a pitcher in one season. We'll call it the modern era. 2009, Javi Vasquez, 20. 18 sacrifice bunts by John Smoltz in 06 and Phil Niekro in 68.
Wow.
And the Athletic Tom Glavine had 17 of them in 01. And Julio's got 13 this year.
Jim Joyce with some housekeeping right in front of the plate. That foul ball might have taken a chunk of dirt right off the front corner of home plate. So Jim's got it back in order, and Nola back to work. 1 ball, 2 strikes. How did he foul that off?
I don't know, but that's again, he doesn't strike out much, so I don't know.
I mean, that was let it rip and hope the ball finds the bat.
Yeah.
That thing explode.
Not on the plate. Long arms. This one curved around the plate, it looked like. Might have been a little low, too. Look how shallow they're playing in the outfield. Out there in center field, almost like softball depth.
To third, foul. We'll do it again. Make him work, Julio. And a bouncing ball left side. Nice play by Ashe to cut it off. Look at Blanco. He was up and ready to fire, and he just looked at Ashe and said, hey, look at ball hog. Field where the Braves lead 1-0 behind Julio Teheran.
Well, to say he's been good would be an understatement. He's actually been perfect. Hitting that target upstairs for a high strikeout on Francoeur. He has struck out 5. And if you just joined us, no one's reached base. He's been perfect through his first 5 innings.
With 5 strikeouts, and he's got the 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up on the Phillies lineup card. Cubs and Cardinals are wrapping up their series at Wrigley. St. Louis has jumped in front 3-0 as they move to the top of the 2nd inning. Pittsburgh got a big win last night. They beat Clayton Kershaw. First time Kershaw has lost a game in 10 decisions. And they have Garrett Cole pitching tonight. The Pirates by 1 game lead the Cubs for home field advantage in the National League wild card race. Here's Rupp, the catcher. He flied out his first time and rolls 1 to short. Simmons charges and flips to first in time. He got his man. 1 up, 1 down. And here's Ashe. Ashe popped out to center. That was the near collision play with Peterson, Simmons, and Maben. Cameron came in at the last moment and made a thigh high grab. Ashe has had no luck at all against the Braves again this year. He's 5 for 52 now at the plate. Two and 0. Line to short. Simmons played him perfectly. 2 steps to his left. That's the hardest hit ball of the day.
They put some balls in play with some authority, but so far so good for Julio, including that one. The line drive that Chase Peterson was able to haul in the first inning with that great leap. So far, so good.
Nothing in one for Aaron Nola. He too bounced out. So far, he and Christian are playing catch.
Yeah, they are. But everything's worked off his fastball today.
And now he's a strike away from sending this game to the home sixth.
And 14 of 18 first pitch strikes.
Swing and a miss. 18 up, 18 down, 6 strikeouts for Julio Teheran. Top of the Braves order. We'll try to give him some insurance.
To follow the action of Atlanta Braves baseball is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get the MLB.com at bat app now.
Home sixth coming up. Time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts.
September team batting averages. Look at that. Braves nowhere near the bottom of this deal. The Phillies are dead last, and then 2 playoff teams, the Yankees and Cardinals, are really scuffling to score runs for their pitchers, are 29th and 28th. It would be nice to get a couple more runs here at the top of the lineup.
You bet. Give Julio a little bit of breathing room as he's through 6 perfect frames today. Here's Bourne. Michael doubled and struck out. He's the only man to score. Aaron Nola's pitched a pretty good game too. He's allowed 4 hits. 3 of them came in the opening inning. But 2 double play balls helped him settle in, and he hasn't given up a hit since the 2nd inning. Fly ball shallow center. Altair is going to drift to his left. Glasses gleaming. He's got it. One down. Can't wait to see Matt Coney and the terrific ladies who help us get from city to city on Delta Airlines. We're on our way to the airport after we wrap up our series with the Phillies. A date with the Mets and Jonathan Neese tomorrow night at Citi Field.
Yeah, no word on whether or not their customer of the month, Larry Anderson of the Phillies, is actually going to fly on the Phillies charter, or if he's going to take Delta commercial flight. But knowing Larry, he's probably going to go tomorrow and save his ticket for another time.
Yeah, he's already upgraded. We know that.
Yes.
So I'm sure Delta appreciates that. As Oliveira rolls to short. Blanco, ball stayed down. No trouble for him. 2 outs.
His fastball moves in on right-handers, and it's certainly hard enough that if you're trying to hang out over the plate and get that breaking ball, you can jam yourself, as Oliveira did there. This kid's good. And again, just 22 and just drafted last year out of LSU.
Look, I don't know what the Phillies are going to do off season, but imagine a David Price at the top of the rotation with the 2 guys we've seen back to back. That'll be pretty salty.
Yeah.
Freeman has singled and has walked. And he's going to bounce out into the shift. That'll be a very easy frame for Aaron Nola. This has been a fun game. If you love good pitching, you've seen a lot of it. But now the stage is yours. Julio Teheran, we go to the 7th.
Top of the 7th, Julio Teheran having his best game of the year so far. I'm not going to say anything or make any bold predictions, but I will say that I have the best seat in the house right above the SunTrust Club in the scouting section, and I've watched his pitches for the last couple innings. Hitting all of his spots and having an extremely sharp slider today. Mix in a little bit of a good defense. And next thing you know, we've got a great ball game, and these last 3 innings are going to be very fun to watch. All the scouts around me saying this is the best they've seen Julio in a long, long time.
Hard to argue with that as Freddie Galvis hits the first pitch up the middle. And that spoils the perfect game for Julio Teheran. But a great start for him. 18 up, 18 down. And the crowd here applauds his effort. Not much doubt about that one. Galvis took it right back through the middle.
And for a guy who's eaten the Braves up all year long and was 0 for 10 in this series, he certainly was due. So not a shock that he's the guy that breaks it up.
So we'll see how Julio fares as he enters the stretch for the first time in the game, with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters lurking on the Phillies lineup card. This is Aaron Altair, and that's off the plate. By the way, Paul, you're a big TV superstar now. You shouldn't have to sit above the SunTrust Club seats. You should be in the SunTrust Club seats.
Well, that's right. I like the view right here with all the scouts and getting their thoughts. And, gosh, as soon as I bragged on Julio a little bit, he gave up a hit. So just want to make sure I'm allowed in the clubhouse after the game. And I want to make it clear that I did not make any bold predictions. How about that?
But you changed your seat, though.
Yeah. You're right. I did blow it. Darn it.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss.
That has been an awesome pitch today. As Paul said, that slider's been tough. And so has Nola's curveball.
Strike 3, says Jim Joyce. 7 for Julio today. 1 out.
93 on the outside corner.
You know, it's funny. All of us who follow the Braves every day and watched all of Julio Teheran's starts just couldn't figure out what was wrong with Julio Teheran in the first half of the season. He's a different guy. He was pitching to contact a lot, and when he was getting contact, it was hard contact. He was getting ripped early in the season. And now with that slight adjustment on the mound and some success, Joe, as you've said a million times, that confidence muscle is maybe the most important one. He's pitching like he did a couple of years ago.
Well, he got away from that two-seamer that he had fallen in love with early too. Not that he doesn't still throw it. He just threw it and missed outside. But he went back to being a quote-unquote power pitcher, throwing hard, throwing a hard slider, and not trying to trick everybody with two-seamers.
1 ball, no strikes. Runner goes. Breaking ball pulled foul. I remember distinctly after one of his starts when he pitched really well, and we both went up to him in the locker room, and I believe it was one of his road starts, and we both intimated to Julio, welcome back.
Yeah, it was at Philadelphia, August 2nd.
And he said, you like that, huh? And we said, yeah, that's Julio Teheran.
His strikeout high for the year is 11. That came against the Dodgers here on July 22nd. And that also tied his career high.
Line drive toward left, and Garcia, nice play. Long throw back to first, and there's the second out. Bogusevic hit that like a rocket.
He certainly did. And how about that plant and throw by Adonis? I thought he was trying to get it in quickly to Andrelton Simmons, but not so. From deep in left field, about a 3-hopper to first. Nice catch.
So Jeff Francoeur, the batter, he struck out and popped out. The best game in Julio Teheran's career came in 2013. That was June 5th of that year. Took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Brandon Inge broke up a no-hit bid, and the Pirates ended up with 1 hit and struck out 11 times that day. A somewhat similar pace for Julio today.
You bet.
Teheran's won 14 games in back-to-back seasons for Atlanta. He's trying to finish this season with a flourish. Way outside, ball 2. Popped up behind first. Jace Peterson battles the sun. And he's going to get there, and that will retire the side. Julio Teheran loses the no-hitter, but he's winning the game as we head to the 7th inning stretch.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Beautiful view from atop Stone Mountain here in Atlanta. And the Braves are excited to announce the first annual University Night at Turner Field. Eagles Night on Thursday, October 1st. Join your fellow Georgia Southern Eagles for a fun evening at the ballpark, including pregame meet and greets with Georgia Southern greats and a Braves Georgia Southern cap. Go to braves.com/Southern for more information. From Eagles to Turkeys, they kicked him out of the SunTrust Club.
Oh, poor guy. Yeah.
The old baseball walk of shame for Paul Bird.
Yeah, I know. He was probably a little loud.
You think?
Yeah. He just probably a little out of control.
Yeah, he gets those hands going. And
yeah. Phillies probably complained that he was trying to distract their pitcher somehow.
Right. Well, you'd think Paul would be, being an LSU guy and all, he'd be kind of silent with Nola on the mound. But
yeah. I hope Andre can go on the road trip with us, because I guess Paul will be in the pokey.
That's exactly right.
Well, guys, they took me out because I jinxed Julio's perfect game no-hitter, but you know what? I got the gift of gab. I talked my way back in, doubled back. I'm down.
Way to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Joe, you would happy to know that I have worked my way into the SunTrust Club upper level seating.
Nice.
Yes.
Hey, what's the buffet today down there?
We had shrimp and grits.
Okay.
Always solid. And some steak. Steak with gravy. And no healthy options.
Well, we're used to that.
But you're at a ball game, so why would you come here to eat healthy, right?
Right.
Yeah, all good stuff. And, man, the SunTrust Club, they do a phenomenal job. Best seats in the house. And, yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, Rusty's got it under control down there.
I got to tell you, sideline reporting sure has changed. Right? Yeah, I'm going to go sit at the SunTrust Club, have some shrimp and grits, steaks, a couple of hot dogs, and maybe talk about the game for a minute.
I'm just glad he's not in jail because I was worried about him.
Yeah. Garcia leads off the 7th. And you're right, the SunTrust Club is great. Great place to catch a game. Rusty and those folks do wonderful work. You'll see Jim Powell down there quite a bit. He has dinner a time or two a week down at the SunTrust Club. So if you enjoy Jim's work and you have a chance to say hi to him before the game, I know he'd appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. He'll be the guy having the salmon.
Yes. Garcia seems like he's just sitting on that slider. He hit it, that breaking ball. He hit it hard to left his last time up. He's had 2 good swings at it this at bat. Laid off the fastball. That one was too far in. He's had a plan. He's gone up there with a plan and he's sticking to it.
Payoff pitch. And he doubled up with that breaking ball and missed too far inside. So that snaps a streak of 9 straight Braves hitters retired by Nola. That's his 2nd walk to go along with 4 hits. And he's in the stretch for the first time since the 4th inning.
Well, one more run right now would be mighty big.
Back to first is Garcia. Braves try to chase down their 3rd consecutive win. Last time they won 3 games in a row, August 6th, 7th, and 8th. They took 3 out of 4 from the Marlins, who, by the way, are playing very good baseball right now. That is not going to be an easy road trip for the Braves, going to New York and what will be a feverish atmosphere, then down to Miami, where the Fish are playing maybe their best baseball of the year in September. No balls and a strike. Not sure if the rotation will pan out this way, but we might have to run into Jose Fernandez down there, and he's never lost a game at home.
I think Harvey's pitching today for the Mets. Syndergaard pitched yesterday, so the Braves will miss them.
Line over second and into right field. Adonis around second. He's going to take the turn. Francoeur muffed it. Throws to second. Throw there is in time. Maben is the first out. And Francoeur made lemonade out of lemons on that play. Runner at third. 1 away for Andrelton Simmons. The Braves might be taking a look at this and see if they challenge.
Good swing here by Cameron on a low fastball. Little short inside out swing. Adonis challenging Francoeur, who got in a hurry, recovered. And Chad Fairchild said they got him. Tried to do the swim move. I don't know if his hand got around his foot or not. I don't think so.
So that's a big run at third base. Let's see if Andrelton can chase home Garcia for the 2nd run. He did, and a line drive to second. Galvis was breaking to his right, and that ball was curling to his left. He put it in play, but the infield in saved the Phillies. Tough break, 2 out.
Boy, that was a defensive move on his part, too. You can see he took that little hop to his right. The way it came off Andrelton's bat, just like Chip said. Hard, slicing line drive.
The Phillies will walk Jace Peterson and go with the righty-righty matchup of Christian Bethancourt, who has hit into a double play and struck out. The guess is here they like the idea of Nola's breaking ball against Bethancourt much more so than the left-hand hitting Peterson.
The hard hit ball that Christian hit his first time up, I believe, came on the first pitch. So look for him to try to get something early in the count and not have to deal with that breaking ball again like he did his last time up when he fanned on it.
And I'll bet you that's exactly what Cameron Rupp is saying to him right now. Phillies have lost 8 of their last 10 games. Been outscored by 27 runs in that stretch. They haven't hit a lick. And they've wasted, as Pete Mackanin said, 2 excellent pitching performances in this series already, and they're wasting another one to this point this afternoon. Braves lead it late, trying to hand the Phillies their 13th losing sweep of the season.
Adam Morgan in the first game, 6 solid innings, only gave up 2 runs, no walks. Eichhoff last night left with the lead, 7 innings of shutout ball, but Jerome Williams gave up 2 in the 8th. The Braves won the game.
First and third for Bethancourt. Over the corner, a strike at 92.
That was a good pitch. Nick Swisher's out on deck, but I think that might just be a deep for the Phillies dugout, I would guess. Teheran's only thrown 79 pitches. The Braves do have some action in the bullpen. Ryan Kelly.
Oh, 0-2. Line drive center field. Altair drifts back. Bethancourt hit that one on the button, but an atom ball sends us to the 8th inning. The Braves threaten, can't add to a 1-0 lead in Game 3.
Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day.
Daniel Castro had to come out and warm up the pitcher. I don't know where the other 2 guys are, but Bethancourt made the last out, and Julio Teheran's throwing a 1-hit shutout and had to stand out on the mound waiting for somebody to come warm him up. That ain't right.
So he gets ready for the 8th inning. Blanco, Ruff, and Rupp are coming up. for the Fightins, who are suffering through a 4-13 September. Back to the AT&T Uverse trivia question. Julio's allowed 26 homers this year. Name the last Brave to allow 30 home runs in a single season.
I say this with no disrespect to anybody I pick. I'm going to say Nuxie.
Phil Niekro, makes sense. I'm going to say Rick Mailer.
Okay.
He's a pitch to contact guy.
Old Chucky. Okay. Hope Chuck's still in the area and doing good. Be nice to see him out here if he's still living in the area.
Chuck would be the first guy to laugh if someone said this to him. He used to replace windows in the offseason. A lot of hitters broke them.
Yeah.
But for a while he was a double-digit winner for the Braves in rotation one year.
Yeah.
As Andres Blanco starts inning number 8 at the plate for the Phillies. He's grounded out twice. Once to first with the pitcher covering, once to second. And he was very late there, 2-1.
That looked like a two-seamer. You pick your spots. It's a great thing as a compliment to your fastball, as long as it doesn't become what you want to throw all the time. And I think he tried it again.
First guy hugely important in this inning with Ruff and Rupp, two guys with some power coming up. A first inning run for Atlanta, the difference in the game. The pitch. Skied foul. We'll do it again. The Labrador Retrievers are going crazy over that foul ball in the upper deck on Bark in the Park Day.
Could have been a stampede.
He lost him. Leadoff walk for Julio. That's his first walk in the game. He struck out Darren Ruff twice, both times swinging. Teron with 7 strikeouts in the game. Let's see if he can get the ball on the ground. There, a strike. Crackling good pitch from Julio. Quickly 0-2. Little pop. Simmons on a dead sprint. He can't get there. A blue pit. Throw back to second, and everybody's safe. Ruff strong enough to dump it in behind Andrelton Simmons. And now we've got real trouble. 2 on, nobody out.
Right out in no man's land. Up and in. I don't know if it broke his bat, but it may have. Just a Ric Flair out there.
So here's Cameron Rupp, blessed with catcher's speed. Let's see if he's doubled up. Showed bunt for a second.
Sure did.
Rupp is hitting to 6 double plays, 239 at bats.
No sacrifices.
Oliveira even with the bag at third. Ball hit right at him. You might be able to get 3. He bunts it in the air. Julio catches it. He's got a double play with a good throw. Excellent result.
Put himself in great fielding position on the follow through. And a guy who doesn't bunt, has to bunt, can't bunt. And it turns into 2.
Oliveira pointed the way to Julio, and he made the easy throw for the second out. Rough at first, Ashy the hitter, now 2 outs. Line drive into right field. That's a base hit. So the double play, a huge play right now, as Ashy singles. And Sweeney's grabbed a bat. Looks like he's going to come on and hit for Aaron Nola. Nola was terrific too today. A run on 5 hits with 3 walks. That's over 7 innings. Nola also struck out 4 men.
Nola's now faced the Braves 19 innings and he's given up 3 runs.
When you're drafted one year and in the big leagues the next, there's a lot to like. First player drafted by the Phillies to make his big league debut the next year since Pat Combs, who was picked in the June draft in '88 and debuted in September of '89 for the Phillies.
Sweeney's the guy that hit the line drive last night that Andrelton caught. Good first pitch call from Bethancourt. Slow curve. Young guy, antsy to do something good here with the tying run and go ahead run on base. Kniff and Marksberry ready to go.
1 ball, 1 strike for Darnell Sweeney. And that shaved the edge. 1-2.
Still got a little left in the tank. That was 94. Don't have to make a good pitch here.
Swing and a miss.
Look at Christian clapping his glove. He got that right where he wanted it.
8 strikeouts for Julio Teheran, and the Phillies ran themselves out a golden chance to tie the game at the very least. 1-0 Braves still lead it.
The SunTrust Club, you say they don't have healthy food, you jinx Julio Teheran, you get sent up to section 414 with a Labradoodle named Sophie. Very pleasant dog, got some good water over here, and I will say that I have a great view. So, guys, Julio Teheran is struggling. The SunTrust Club has great food, and I hope we pull this one out. Back to you guys.
You've gone from the pokey to the dog pound.
Paul, tell the truth. Is that the cleanest your hair's been all week?
It does. It's a type of mousse that I may consider using on a regular basis. I need all the help I can get, guys.
Hey, but it's all yours, right, buddy? That's great. Julio Teheran leads off the 8th inning against Dalier Hinojosa, who's on the mound for the Phillies.
He's great.
This is an important outing for Julio Teheran in this regard. I'm guessing that Vizcaino is unavailable today.
Yeah, 2 days in a row and a lot of pitches. It would be really good if he could at least go out there and start the ninth, get his first complete game of the year, perhaps.
He will have the top of the order in the Phillies' ninth. What would be even better is a couple of insurance runs for him.
Yeah.
And he's down on strikes. Hinojosa retires his first man, one away in the 8th.
See, I'm not even going to count that strikeout on Julio because he was conserving energy.
Yeah.
He did what I've heard Don Sutton say before. You're pitching a good ball game, you get late in the game, just go up there and take 3 and go to the dugout.
Yeah, Don used to say all the time, pitchers would really pitch to him, be grinding, trying to hit corners, and say, just throw it down the middle. I'm just going to hit a ground ball to second base. You can make this easy on your pitcher or tough on him.
Well, and in that case, that'd be a pretty good bolt for Don if he was able to put that in play and hit it to second.
1 ball, no strikes for Bourne, the only man to score today. Nola threw 91 pitches, if I'm hearing that correctly.
Correct.
Boy, is he a good-looking player.
Like him a lot.
Yep.
Nola, Eichhoff, Morgan, that's 3 good guys to build around for next year.
And as they make their way in the big leagues, that's again why if the Phillies can add a veteran number 2 starter, say, just to help those guys grow and mature. They've got the back end of their bullpen in Ken Giles. They've got some nice arms in the middle.
They might even consider bringing Aaron Harang back, just to kind of be a mentor.
5th guy, 6th guy, kind of like Christian Martinez was with the Braves. But with free agency now and the ability to sign players from the international draft, teams can get good really, really fast. And as it stands now, the Phillies are in line for the number 1 overall pick in the amateur draft, which will help their farm system quite obviously. High hopper hit to second. That's the second out. Bases are empty for Hector Olivera. Fans, you have until midnight tonight to get your special Sam Hunt designed New Era Braves snapback hat. Go to Braves.com to get this one-of-a-kind hat designed by Sam himself, along with a ticket to see the Braves take on the Nationals October 1st. Don't forget, there's a free post-game concert, too.
And doesn't that hat look like a little bit like the Atlanta A with the top taken out?
Nice looking hat. And from what we're told, the on-field passes for the concert are going very, very fast. I mean, real limited availability for that, which means should have a great crowd. As this one's hit slowly towards short. All or nothing play, and Blanco couldn't make it with a bare hand. And Olivera has a 2-hit afternoon.
Like another breaking ball, and it was. So again, having to start his swing early and try to cover that. rolled over the top of it, but hit it soft enough that it was too tough for Blanco to make the play. Todd Cunningham will come in and pinch run and hopefully provide the Braves with an insurance run.
And here's the last guy the Phillies want to see in the 8th inning. That's Freddie Freeman, who's tormented them all year and has the lone RBI for any hitter today. $23,723 saw it on a perfect late September afternoon.
Hinojosa pitched here a couple of days ago but did not face Freddie Freeman.
Fouled away, even count. Dalier Hinojosa began with the Red Sox organization. That's inside, ball 2. More and more players arriving from Cuba. Hinojosa, another example of that. Jim Joyce said it was outside. I believe him. 3-1.
Pretty good changeup, though, just missed.
Freeman walks. And now Garcia bats.
It's kind of nice. This gives Julio a little extra rest in the dugout, and a base hit give him an extra run. Likes the first pitch in these RBI spots.
So this is a battle of Cuba. Garcia is from Ciego de Avila, Cuba.
Ciego. Okay.
1 ball, no strikes. And out of play. Don't know where that is. One ball, one strike. In the dirt. Rupp with a body block. Kept it close enough to prevent advance by Cunningham and Freeman.
Oh, looks like he got crossed up there almost. He held that glove at the target for a long time like he was expecting a breaking ball. Was fortunate to throw the backhand down there.
Popped up and headed for the stands. yanked foul.
Got to be quick on that. Short and quick. Look at Rupp. Rupp was doing his best to go over there and try and block the ball. And Garcia ripped it.
Swing and a miss. And that will retire the side. So we go to the 9th inning. Julio Teheran will try to finish what he starts. He leads 1-0.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves. Braves Baseball is presented by Hyundai.
Beautiful car and a beautiful day, and a beautifully pitched game by Julio Teheran so far. Atlanta got a first inning run, and now he's got some defensive substitutions. Pedro Ciriaco's in at third base. Todd Cunningham stays in the game to play right. Michael Bourne moves from right field to left field. And the stage is yours. Julio Teheran, top of the order in the 9th inning with a 1-0 lead.
You make it quick. Put him away. He had 4 complete games last year, Chip. And the first one was at Philadelphia on April 16th, a 3-hit shutout. He had one in May against Milwaukee here, one in July at the Dodgers. I remember that one. And then another one late in the year, September 13th at Texas. 3-hitter.
Little squibber out toward the mound. Julio's got it with a bare hand. 1 down. He got the man that broke up his perfect game in the 7th. That was a clean single by Galvis. Julio got him here for the first out.
Coming into this game, the last 14 starts for Julio, 5-3 with a 3.68 ERA. Now that includes that start against the Yankees where they just blew him up. I think it was 8 earned runs and 4 innings, 4+ innings. If you take out that Yankee game, his ERA is 2.99 over his last 14 starts coming into this one.
Right now his ERA is at 4.15, and considering where it was and the number of innings he's pitched, that he's been able to cut into it as severely as he has tells you exactly what you're saying. He's pitched really good baseball. In the air to center. Maben sliding grab, dropped it. Maben had it at the belt buckle and he dropped it.
Caught it into the body, couldn't keep it on the body, and it rolled out. It's okay to trap it against your body if it comes out of the glove. He couldn't hold on to it. They ruled it a base hit.
First for Altair. who had struck out 3 earlier times up. So here's Bogusevic. He lined out to left in the 7th inning. Only 2 or 3 really hard hit balls by the Phillies all day today. A great grab by Garcia to rob him. Slashed foul.
Tell you what, this guy's had some good at bats against the Braves in Philly and here. Hit a home run in Philadelphia, his first hit this year after he got called up, and his first homer in 2 years. Most of that time spent in the minor leagues.
Heads up. Line drive foul. 0-2. Jeff Francoeur is next. The Braves bullpen is busy. Peter Moylan is the man up and throwing.
That's far enough. Don't go 3-2 and give Altera a chance to take off with the runner. I mean, with the hitter having a chance to maybe put it in play and first to third him. Good fastball in with that slow curve.
Line drive into center field. Bogusevic continues to hit the Braves hard.
And it was a slow curve.
And that's as far as Freddie Gonzalez will allow Julio to go. He had his hand up hoping for a reprieve. No such luck. With 1 out in the 9th inning, back-to-back hits by the Phillies. And Julio Teheran will get a huge ovation. Well deserved. One of his best starts of the year today.
By the Georgia Lottery, Sherwin-Williams, and your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Braves try to hang a second 1-0 loss on Aaron Nola as Julio Teheran leads him with a first inning tally today. And this was the last pitch of the afternoon for the Braves righty.
That was just a great at bat by Bogusevic. And look at Julio saying, I'm okay. Stay in there. Relax, I'm all right. But Freddie was already on the way.
So the game now in the hands of Peter Moylan, with Jeff Francoeur coming up. 2 on, 1 out. Again, Arodys Vizcaíno not available today, we presume, after heavy workloads the last 2 nights. Jeff has struck out once, popped out twice. And this one hit in the air toward right on the first pitch. Cunningham got there. 2 out.
Boy, was that perfect defensive setup. Cunningham was playing shallow, or that ball might have dumped in. And playing him like they expected with the side armor to get Francoeur to hit the ball the other way. And boy, did that work out just right.
So 1 more out to get. Mentioned the 1-0 loss suffered by Aaron Nola earlier this year. That was against Tampa Bay. The only run he gave up was a home run to his mound opponent, Nathan Carnes. That's as tough a 1-0 loss as any pitcher could have. Losing an interleague play to the opposing pitcher's homer. That was his first big league start. So normally Gal here talking strategy.
Yeah, and normally Freddie doesn't leave Moylan in to pitch to a left-handed hitter. But Blanco's a switch hitter, so it doesn't matter if he goes to get someone else. They're still going to have Blanco jump around on him. September 9, 2012, the last save for Peter Moylan at New York against the Mets.
So Andres Blanco, the hitter for the Phillies, 2 on, 2 out. Way inside, ball 1. Darren Ruff is on deck. Braves want to see him next year. We'll see the Phillies for the first time next season in mid-May. 1-0 pitch. Line drive, base hit right field. Here comes a runner to third. He's coming around third. Throw to the plate is off target and safe. Altair scores on a 2-out hit by Blanco, and the Phillies have tied it up 1 apiece.
Bethancourt gets spiked. Great charge, great pickup by Cunningham. Came up firing. His throw was just a little too far into foul territory. I don't think he got spiked. He may have jammed his hand into the runner. I think it was more that than anything.
Athletic trainer Jim Lovell out to attend to Bethancourt. Yep, looks like the left wrist. So the Phillies, with three hits in the ninth, tied it up. And remember, Altair reached on that breadbasket attempt by Cameron Maybin. He couldn't hang on.
Yeah, or the game would already be over.
Yep. So Julio can't win it. The go-ahead run is at third base for the Phillies, and Bethancourt is not going to be able to continue.
But you don't want to take a chance with the go-ahead run at third base and on a glove hand not being able to stop a pitch if you need to.
So either wrist or thumb, I believe, is what Jim Lovell was checking out for Bethancourt. And let's see who puts on the gear. Braves have A.J. Przinsky and Ryan Lavarnway on the roster as catchers. So the Phillies down to their final out, tie it in the ninth, 1 apiece. And we contemplate Our upcoming road trip, we've got the Mets, we've got the Marlins. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere at Citi Field in New York starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're trying to reduce their magic number and clinch the East before they have to play the Nationals again. The Marlins, meanwhile, third in the National League East, have really played good baseball. Last 18 games, Martin Prado leading the charge. Team average of .290. Best baseball of the year for those guys.
Magic number for the Mets at the moment is 8. They aren't going to get any help from the Nationals today, it would appear. The Nats are clobbering Miami 10-2. That game's in the top of the 7th. And as Joe mentioned, matchup at home at Citi Field. It's the Yankees and the Mets. Matt Harvey and CC Sabathia are the opposing moundsmen. Sabathia's been pitching good ball for the Yankees. They still have hopes of chasing down Toronto, which is losing again. 4-3 in the 9th inning.
Boy, they blew one yesterday.
5 in the 9th for the Red Sox. And Toronto, which came to Atlanta and looked like they were going to run away and hide in the AL East, in jeopardy of dropping a game in the standings if the Yankees win later on. Their lead is 3.5 games in the American League East. So A.J. Pierzynski needed just a couple of throws to be ready to go. Now Darren Ruff is the hitter. We'll have to face him.
Nola can't lose it now. Tehran can't win it now, but Tehran still could take an L.
Because the man at third is his responsibility. And that man is Bogusevic. And a strike from Moylan. Ruff, then Rupp. 2 on, 2 out, 1 in the Phillies' 9th. Fly ball center. That'll chase Maben back. Still going back. He gets there. And that will retire the side. Blanco hurts the Braves with a game-tying hit in the 9th. If not, now's your chance. Get a Braves Field Reserve ticket for any remaining game this year and a Saturday Tour Championship grounds pass for $89. A savings of up to 34%. Go to Braves.com/PGA for more information.
Tehran going over to give 5 to Maben. Despite the fact that Cameron couldn't hold on to that line drive. Not that it was an easy play, but just couldn't quite hang on to it.
And that turned into the game tying run for the Phillies. And now Cameron leads off the bottom of the 9th inning. Cameron 1 for 3 today. And the Phillies go deeper into their bullpen. And the first is down and away, ball 1. Luis Garcia.
Hard thrower, upper 90s with a hard slider.
Will take a leadoff walk.
A lot of walks in there.
For the Braves, he's been almost impossible to hit. 1 earned run in 14 1/3 innings, covering 15 games, and he's won 3 games. 2 balls and a strike. And a shot to second, and a leaping grab by Freddie Galvis. So those are even on the day. Peterson had one earlier.
Perfect timing. I was hoping he had jumped too soon because it wasn't scorched.
Andrelton Simmons is 0 for 3.
High and tight.
High hopper off the plate. Run, Andrelton, run. Ashe thrown away. Ball rattles around by the tarp, and Simmons at second. Nobody covered third, and no advance. There's a huge break. A Baltimore chop and a bad throw, and the Braves are in business.
Cody Ashe's made some really good plays in this game at third base, especially early in the game to start some double plays. This was ill-advised. He was not going to get Andrelton Simmons. The pitcher was in his way. He would have been better off just sticking it in his pocket. Threw off balance. And no chance for Rupp to try to flag it down. Braves will take it. Probably a hit and an error.
Winning run at second as Simmons adjusts the wrist guard at second base. Jace Peterson's got an infield hit, a strikeout, and a walk.
He's got 1 walk-off this year. How about another?
There you go. Strike call.
Outfielders pretty shallow. Altair in center. And Bogasevich in left, especially. Francoeur can play a little deeper. He's got the better arm.
Oh, 2.
Nice stop by Rupp.
And 2 tantalizing pitches that Jace didn't swing at.
Got to respect his fastball, but in this situation, I don't think they want to throw anything middle into Jace because he's been turning on the ball. Look middle away and have the plate covered.
Simmons is going for third. Pitch a ball, throw high. He steals it easily. He threw a surprise party. Now a fly ball could win the game.
Chip, that was 3 pitches at least in the making. He kept extending his lead, and trying to time it. And then he jumped off there, paused because he got a look, and then kept going. But he was sizing him up for 3 pitches before he broke. Great baseball.
4th steal for Simmons. Infield comes in. Full count coming for Peterson. With A.J. Pierzynski on deck for an injured Christian Bethancourt.
Now the outfield has to come way in. Try to take away a single.
Payoff pitch. Did he go? He didn't. Ball 4. Excellent eye for Jace Peterson in that at bat. And here's A.J. Pierzynski. The only run that matters is Simmons at third. Nothing hurts the Phillies here. They do get the double play set up. But Joe, what we said last night applies here. AJ's been hitting the ball in the air a lot. Maybe he'll hit one deep enough to bring home Simmons and win the game.
He's going to bring in some infielders from the outfield.
Frank Coors going to lobby to pitch. So Bogusevic, Francoeur come in from right and left. Altair is in shallow center, and Pete Buchanan's going to set things up.
He's going to have 6 infielders. Well, let's see. No. Bogusevic was taking some information out there to Altair. They're going to play in left center and right center, and they're going to go with 5 infielders.
Now Francoeur's politics. I want to be the guy that turns the double play.
Yeah.
I want to be the turn man. The 2 infielders said, "Hey, here's what you do." Huh.
Now they're not left center, right center. They're still trying to figure that out. They're shallow right and shallow left center.
Yeah, they had Ruff on the bag at first. They're not going to hold Jace Peterson. 5 infielders, 2 outfielders, and AJ's the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. Nick Swisher's on deck.
Just hit a fly ball. Don't pop it up, but hit a fly ball. Play home run derby.
Line drive, base hit. Here comes Simmons, and the Braves have swept the Phillies.
He had to come in after Bethancourt got hurt in the top of the inning. His only at bat of the day, and I don't care how old you are, that never gets old. Backdoor slider attempt. Ball game.
First sweep for the Braves since early August. I take that back. First time the Braves have won 3 in a row since early August. Last sweep was in June when they took 3 against the New York Mets. And I'll tell you what, the Braves have this 2-1 thing down pat. If we play 2-1 games the rest of the year, we might not lose another game the rest of the year. A.J. Pierzynski came on late with the game-winning hit. And Atlanta takes 3 straight from the Fightin' Phils by identical 2-1 scores.